Hi, this is Angie and this is DIY Homesteading with Missouri River Regional Library. This month we're going to make some Vicks Vapor Rub knockoff. I've made this before, but this is a new recipe that I think will be closer to the original. And it calls for beeswax, coconut oil, castor oil, aloe jelly, which I had to look up what that was, and some essential oils. It just makes a little batch, but of course you can make as much as you want. To make the aloe jelly, you can buy aloe jelly, but you can use your aloe plant if you have an aloe plant. And the way you do this is you take a nice big stalk like this one perhaps, you cut it off, and then you peel it and put the jelly that's inside in some water to soak. And that is supposed to get rid of the sliminess because you don't want the sliminess of the aloe. And then we'll use that in our recipe. So it only takes a tablespoon and a half of aloe, which I used one really big stalk of the aloe to do that. So I think we should be good to go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna melt our oils and beeswax over a double boiler. Add the aloe, and then add our essential oils. And we're using several essential oils this time. We've got tea tree oil, of course, eucalyptus, peppermint, camphor, and some menthol. So you probably have the tea tree, peppermint, and eucalyptus in your essential oils. I did have to buy the camphor and the menthol separately. But I think it's going to make it really close to a regular Vicks Vapor Rub. And gosh knows we need it around this house. We have had the creeping crud here. Everybody's hacking and coughing, and so we definitely need something to open up all our sinuses and everything. So let's get everything into the double boiler back here, and we'll get this going, okay? Okay, so we have our beeswax, our castor oil, and our coconut oil melted in our double boiler. And if you don't know what a double boiler is, it's very simply a pot of water boiling with another container on top of it so that the water doesn't get into what you're melting. So this is nice and melted. Give it a nice stir. The beeswax does take a little bit to melt, but it looks good now. I'm going to turn off the heat, and then I'm going to add my aloe jelly. So this is what your aloe jelly looks like. It's just the middle part of your aloe plant. I didn't know that either. And then I'm going to add this in here and let it incorporate into my oils. It does need to dissolve completely because you don't want little blobs of aloe in there at all, do you? That would be kind of gross. But you also don't need the heat on here. The residual heat from the boiling water is enough that this aloe is dissolving very nicely. So we'll get it all dissolved in here, and then we're going to add our essential oils. Now, like I said, I think this recipe is pretty close to Vicks's mixture with the camphor and the menthol, peppermint, eucalyptus, and then the tea tree to add a little health benefits in there. So we're going to let this aloe dissolve here. Then we're going to let it cool a little bit. Because the thing with essential oils is you don't want to get them too hot because that makes them lose their effectiveness a little bit. So we're going to let this cool down just a tad before we add our essential oils. Okay, so a tip. I've never used this aloe jelly before. I would smash it up into really, really fine jelly so that it dissolves faster, because I had some big chunks and that took a long time for that to all dissolve, and I ended up using a whisk and a fork and whatever else I could use to smush it up. So, but we've got it pretty much smushed up. We've got it incorporated into our oils here, and we have added our essential oils. Just as a reminder, we did camphor oil, peppermint oil, eucalyptus oil, tea tree oil, and menthol. And I did about 30 drops of each of those in here. And let me tell you, that is opening my sinuses up good. So that is a nice, strong vapor rub. We're gonna, I've stirred in the oils. I'm gonna put these in little containers so that we can use, and then you just rub it on your chest, rub it behind your ears, put it on the bottoms of your feet, wherever you need it to go, and hopefully that will help get rid of your creeping crud you have this year. All right, so we've made our Vicks Vapor Rub, and now we're gonna make some shower bombs, because nothing feels better than taking a nice hot shower with menthol, camphor, eucalyptus vapor to open up your sinuses. So to do that, it's very simple. You will need your Vicks that you just made, but you also need a cup of baking soda, a half cup of cornstarch, and a half to a third cup of water. So we're going to heat the water and the Vicks, and then add our cornstarch and baking soda. And then once that's all incorporated, we're going to put them in muffin tins and let them dry overnight. And then you can take a shower, throw it down in the bottom, and voila, your sinuses will be opened. How's that sound? That sounds great, doesn't it? All right, so my water is heating up. I'm gonna put 2 to 3 teaspoons of my Vicks mixture into my water. This is what I just made, and our Vicks ended up making just under half a cup of Vicks stuff, and it made 3 of these little tins, which I've used almost all of this one for this recipe. But if you want more, I think that is a very easy recipe to double or triple. You can make a bigger container if you want to. But we're going to get this going. The Vicks is not set up because I just made it. But if it was, it would probably take a little bit longer to melt here. As it is, it's still a little soft and a little warm. So it's not taking very long to melt it at all. And if you are not me, you would be better prepared to have your muffin tins. We realized this morning as we were doing this that we're out of papers for muffin tins. So that's not good. But you can always make do. Ooh, this is like a science experiment. Did you ever do those as science experiments where you make volcanoes? Boy, that was kind of what was going on there. All right, and then my cornstarch. And this should just make a paste. Ooh, it is making a nice paste. Let's get that all incorporated. So here's what it looks like. Kind of looks like icing. I don't know, weird mashed potatoes. Smells great. I wish you had smell-o-vision because the Vicks is really coming through on there. I made a Vicks Vapor Rub before, but it didn't have the aloe and it didn't have the camphor or the menthol. And while I thought it worked, I didn't think it had the punch that a true Vicks had. So I feel like this recipe really has that punch. This looks good, nice and incorporated. So we're going to put this in our muffin tins and let it sit and dry overnight. You want it to be nice and dry so that it'll just steam up in your shower. Like I said, we ran out of paper, so I have a couple different sizes over here, but I think it should work just fine. All right, so we are done with our Vicks DIY. And you know how they say necessity is the mother of invention? Look at this. DIYing is all about using what you have. So use some wax paper instead of cupcake liners, and they work just fine. My shower bombs made 6 regular size cupcakes. So we're gonna let these dry overnight, and then you can take them off the wax paper if you want to. You don't have to. And then as you're feeling sick, take a hot shower, throw one of these in the bottom and let it steam and open you up. We also made 3 of these little containers of the Vicks Vapor Rub. They're still kind of setting. Oh, I'm telling you, this is great. My sinuses are going to be open all day long. So there's 3 of those, And I think this was a good program. So go home and try this. If you're feeling creepy crud, this did not take very long this morning. Didn't have a lot of ingredients. In fact, this, you probably have all the ingredients to make this on your own. Cornstarch, baking soda, and Vicks. Even if you haven't made your own homemade Vicks. So give it a try. This has been Angie at DIY Homesteading at Missouri River Regional Library. I hope you've enjoyed it.